never expected a simple weekend getaway to become the most terrifying experience of my life. Back in October of 2024, my girlfriend Emma and I decided to spend a few days away from the city. We found an Airbnb cabin hidden deep in the mountains of Colorado. The photos looked amazing. It had over 100 five-star reviews, a beautiful view, and complete privacy. At least that's what we thought. The drive took nearly 4 hours. As we got closer, the roads became narrower and the trees grew thicker. By the time we reached the cabin, the sun was already beginning to set. The place looked exactly like the pictures. A small wooden cabin surrounded by pine trees. No neighbors, no streetlights, nothing but forest in every direction. The first few hours were perfect. We unpacked, ordered food, watched a movie, and eventually went to bed around midnight. Then I woke up. At first, I wasn't sure why. The room was dark and silent. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow footsteps moving across the cabin floor. I froze. My first thought was that Emma had gotten up during the night, but when I looked beside me, she was still asleep. The footsteps continued. One step, another, then another. Whoever it was seemed to be walking around the living room. My heart immediately started pounding. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. 2:34 a.m. The footsteps suddenly stopped. The silence that followed felt even worse. Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. Our bedroom door was slightly open. I knew for a fact we'd closed it before going to sleep. For several seconds, I just stared at the gap, waiting, listening, expecting someone to peek through. Finally, I forced myself out of bed and slowly approached the door. I pulled it open. The living room was empty. The kitchen was empty. The front door was locked. Every window was locked. There was nobody inside. At least that's what I thought. As I turned around to head back to the bedroom, something caught my eye. A narrow wooden door hidden behind a bookshelf. A door I swear hadn't been there earlier, and it was slightly open, just enough for darkness to spill into the room. At that moment, I thought I'd discovered a secret storage space. I had no idea someone was already living inside it, and what we found behind that door would force us to flee that cabin before sunrise. I stood frozen in the middle of the living room, staring at the hidden door. The cabin suddenly felt different, smaller, heavier, like the walls themselves were watching us. I considered waking Emma immediately, but part of me felt ridiculous. There had to be a logical explanation. Maybe it was some maintenance closet that I hadn't noticed earlier. I slowly walked toward it. The floor creaked beneath my feet. The gap in the door revealed nothing but darkness. I reached out and pushed it open. The hinges groaned softly. Behind it was a narrow staircase leading downward. My stomach tightened. "Emma," I whispered. A few seconds later, she walked out of the bedroom, rubbing her eyes. "What are you doing?" I pointed toward the staircase. Her sleepy expression vanished instantly. "What is that?" "I don't know." We both stood there staring at it. Neither of us wanted to go down. Neither of us wanted to ignore it either. Eventually, I turned on my phone flashlight. The beam disappeared into the darkness below. The stairs looked old, much older than the rest of the cabin, almost like they belonged to a different building. We slowly descended. Each step creaked loudly. The air became colder, and then we reached the bottom. The room wasn't a storage space. It was a bedroom, a fully furnished bedroom. There was a mattress, blankets, water bottles, canned food, a portable heater, and scattered across the floor were dozens of photographs. Photographs of people staying in the cabin, including us. My blood ran cold. One of the pictures had been taken earlier that evening while Emma and I were unloading our luggage. Someone had been watching us. Someone had been close enough to photograph us. And judging by the condition of the room, they had been living there for a long time. Emma immediately grabbed my arm. "We need to leave." Then we heard a noise upstairs, a door opening, and footsteps. This time they weren't coming from the living room. They were coming from the bedroom we'd been sleeping in. Someone had just entered the cabin,